Into the ballgame is Paul McKeskey, who's become kind of a cult hero in Milwaukee, Tony.
Fred Roberts hits McKeskey at the other end.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend Paul McKeskey coming to you on a Monday evening. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Mo, hope you had a great weekend. I tell you, I loved watching the final round of the Masters yesterday. I loved watching Rory pull that thing out. He won it and lost it about 5 different times.
You could have hit that 60-yard chip better than he did. He hit it in the water. I mean, what are you doing?
He hit that thing dead right. He hit that thing dead right. To be a great player, which he certainly is, he hit some strange shots. But I don't know if you got a chance to see it all yesterday. And I know our viewers out there, a lot of you guys probably watched it. And welcome, everybody. We got a great show tonight. We got NBA previews and lots to talk about. We got NBA news to talk about. But I want to mention this to Mo, and I'm sure all our viewers out there saw. Going to 17, Roy hits a 9-iron from the fairway. He hits it, and he starts walking, and he says, "Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up." I'm like, that's one thing all golfers have in common, regardless of what their handicap. Talking to the ball.
Yeah, and it never listens, right?
It never listens.
Get up, get down, get down.
Yeah.
Get left. Steer it with your club. You know?
That was so priceless. But that's my most fun major, mainly because they played at the same place and you know the course so well.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like sports, it's a different sport, right? You play the same course 4 days in a row, exact same course. The pins are in a different spot. The tees are a little different, but it's the same course.
Right.
It's, you don't play in the same stadium. You don't play in the same arena, unless now in the playoffs, maybe a little bit. But, I remember, back when I lived in Milwaukee on a golf course and was a pretty darn good golfer, I would go out and play every day. And, I knew that course, backwards and forwards that I lived on. And, sometimes I'm going to sleep knowing I got a 8 a.m. tee off time and I'm picturing the first tee. I want to put it over here, tee shot, and then I want to, lay up here.
Yeah. And when they're at Augusta, I mean, even as viewers, number 2's the par 5. You gotta try to sling it around the little slight dog leg. If you get it going down that hill, you got a great shot of getting it on it too. All those little holes, amen corner and all that. So that was great. Congratulations to Rory. Mo, he got that monkey off his back, man.
Yeah, he broke down at the end, but like you say, it's such an his game is like that though. He'll get a double bogey, then he'll get an eagle. I mean, so he's used to that. He doesn't get shook, but he's been close one time, I think, top 10 another time. And so finally he won and he broke down. That was cool to see. I enjoy more than the tournament. I enjoy the par 3 tournament that's on Wednesday, where they have all the kids and the wives, and they're playing this really cool par 3 course, and there's hole-in-ones going on, and that, to me, that's really cool. And I mean, could you imagine the pictures that those golfers with their family and their wives and their kids get, on that golf course? And the golf course is beautiful. Everything's green like my shirt. And the grass looks like it's so immaculate it looks fake. Like it's turf. But in reality, it's not a very long course. I don't think it's very difficult until you hit to the greens, and those greens are, out of this world. And if you're on the wrong spot on the green or just off the green, it's impossible for you to get, even the pros, to get up and down. And that's, so it's really, you see a lot of action around the green and approach shots that in most tournaments, when you watch most tournaments, you don't see that.
Yeah.
You see some trouble off the tee. but approach shots are pretty mundane, really, in the pro circuit. You know, so but one thing the Masters does.
Hey man, I love golf. I would much rather play golf than watch golf. But I will watch the Masters just because of what you said. Because like you have to hit a chip shot and you won't even look at the hole. You gotta aim,
Yeah.
feet right, turn your back to the hole to get it there. You just don't get there that way. The way they set that up, the way they run that tournament, hey, it's just a lot.
Part of it, like guys like us, sometimes we like to see these pros miss those putts like that far. And
Carter's missed one like this on the first hole yesterday. He said he was just nervous, but hey, it happens. But anyway, congrats to Rory, crowned champion of the Masters. There are now 6 men who have won the Grand Slam of golf, and he is certainly a worthy champion. And Mo, we're about to find out who's a worthy champion in the National Basketball Association. The playoffs begin this week. Actually, we got games starting tomorrow. We got playing games in the East and West. But Paul, before we get to the play-in preview, to the playoff preview, and everybody out there, we want to hear your questions and comments. Who you like, who you think's going to win. We want to hear from you. We do have news today, Mo. The Phoenix Suns have fired their coach, Mike Budenholzer, after just 1 year on the job. And, one of the reports is somehow he wasn't getting along with the team. And when I mentioned that to you, Mo, and you have seen it all, you just laughed.
Come on, man.
The Suns, they struggled all year. They could never seem to get anything going. They had injury problems. They missed the playoffs. They finished 36-46, despite having Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Your thoughts on Mike being fired, Mo?
Well, they made the big move and got that third option, right? What was that guy's name?
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, Bradley Beal. That doesn't work out. That didn't work out. The coach didn't make that move. The GM made that, and the owner made that move. And it never worked out, and he has a no trade, so they couldn't trade him. And, it's just he didn't get along with the team. What the hell does that mean? That's just ridiculous. I mean, since when do coaches have to really you have to have respect and mutual respect and, that, but, we don't get along. What the heck is that? That's just ridiculous. I think that's a bailout excuse for owners firing coaches that, weren't given the correct chance or, he was given a year, but, thank you very much. You're going to pay me $40 million over the next 4 years. Thank you for not coaching. And you're paying the other coach. So in reality, this owner, who's a billionaire, by the way, he's a Michigan State guy. He's a mortgage guy. He's a billionaire, but he's going to be spending $100 million on head coaches' salaries for the next 4 years. All the coaches he's fired.
Yeah. and Mo, think about it. Wasn't that long ago, Phoenix had one of the top teams in the West. They got to the finals 1 year and it couldn't do anything. And the club has just slowly just gone backwards since that time. And when I look at their roster, they have Bradley Beal in his 12th year, been injured a lot. Kevin Durant, the 16th year, still highly productive. Devin Booker in his 9th year. But then after that, man, they have Bo. Mason Plumlee is a good role player, but that's all he is, solid. They don't have a lot. They didn't have, especially in the West.
They have the highest salary in basketball, and they have probably the 8th best roster in the West. Yeah. So who's
buying the groceries?
Whose problem is that? That's the ownership and the GM. I mean, that's what's mind-boggling. Your roster is not very good, so how do you expect it to win? But that's why coaches are hired to get fired. Coach of the year, get fired. Championship coaches from 2 years ago, get fired. So get the best contract, the longest contract you can get, and do the best you can. But you can't. He didn't have any say. He had a little say in trades, and accumulating players, but 20% probably, and 80% was owners and the GM. So, it's mind-boggling to me. But hey, more power to him. And he'll decide. I mean, he won a championship with the Bucks. He got fired from there 2 years later, and now he signs a 5-year, $50 million contract, and they fire him after 1 year. How about this? How about we keep the coach that we just hired and are paying $50 million to, and how about we make some trades and bring in some different players to see if he can coach them? How about that idea?
Paul, Kevin Durant is reportedly on the trading block.
I mean, you should trade him while you can and get what you can. Obviously, you're not. It didn't work, right? So trade him to some contender or something that could pay his salary of $60 million a year, and get 3 really good players, and you'll have a better team. I guarantee you'll have a better team. No question. I mean, I've said this before, Ricky. There's organizations in the NBA, a lot of them, that don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They're bringing in the wrong players, the wrong combinations. They're paying them ungodly salaries, and then thinking about it later. Oh, maybe we made a mistake. Why don't you think about that before you do that? Before you make a commitment. I mean, it's just you can see. Look at Phoenix's roster, and look at Oklahoma City's roster. It's not even close, and Oklahoma City's salaries are almost half of what Phoenix is. So you tell me who's making the wrong decisions. Oh, the coach doesn't get along with the players. That's garbage. That's garbage.
Hey, well, what do you think? And I totally agree with you. You have ownerships and front offices that have no clue. Do you think people get out? Okay, we got to get a name guy, somebody everybody knows, as opposed to getting a quality hard-nosed basketball player that is going to go out there and give me 82 games and play hard.
You don't need a name player. You need a player. I don't care what his name is. His name could be no. I don't care. I mean, it's a balancing act. You have to have top level quality players and talented players from 1 to 8 to be able to compete for a championship. Period. End of story. And now you got to figure out how to pay the money you have in your pocket, how much money you have, your budget, to be able to get as many of those 8 players, whoever they are, to come in and play for you. And they need to be different positions, different skill levels, but they have to have one mind and one heart to help you win. They care about winning more than they care about their salary, more than they care about their business, more than they care about their product, whatever.
Their brand.
Yeah, so you need to talk to players and know the players, and you need people in positions that make decisions that are capable of doing that. And I'm sorry, in the NBA, a lot of guys in those positions don't know what they're doing, and they're making terrible decisions and costing owners a lot of money, and the owners are just going along with it. I mean, why would you fire Budenholzer, who won a championship like 3 years ago or 4 with Milwaukee? Obviously, he knows how to coach, right? He knows how to coach talent. He coached Giannis and all those guys and Holiday.
And Paul, he had good teams in Atlanta. You remember the teams he had in Atlanta were quality teams.
So why don't you change the roster instead of change the coach? Because you made bad decisions and you owe all these people money and you can't move them, and no one will take them off your hands anymore. You want this guy? No, I don't want him. Why do I want him when you don't want him? It makes no sense to me.
Wow. Hey, what's up, Steve? And what's up, everybody out there? Let me hear your questions and comments. Coach Boone's getting paid by 2 teams.
No, it doesn't work that way.
somebody had to pay him off, right? Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way either. So when you have a coaching contract in the NBA, say it's $1 million, right? And you owe me $1 million next year. If I take a job with another team and they pay me $1 million, the other team owes you nothing. If I get a job for another team and they pay me 500,000, then my old team owes the other 500,000 to make me whole. That's how the NBA coaching works. You don't get double paid. You don't get double dipped unless they buy you out, which, a lot of time with $40 million owed, they don't do that. So what you decide to do is, okay, do I want another job or do I want to just chill and get paid for not coaching while I'm announcing? And those jobs is coaching in the NBA. Or I could go overseas and coach in FIBA. I can go to Spain and coach and I get double dipped. I can get paid over there. But that's how that works. Coaching contracts in the NBA, you don't get paid by two teams. You get paid by two teams, but it ends up the same amount if the contract is the same time frame.
Gotcha. See, that's why we love talking hoops with Big Mo. And Mo, now I understand why you always talk about when you coaching, I'm going to coach this team the way I know how to coach as best I can. Because if I go out, I'm going to go out coaching my way.
Do you want to, if I'm going to get fired, do I want to be fired because I'm trying to do what the players want me to do? Or am I going to get fired because I'm doing what I want to do? That's the difference. And there's a medium in there. You got to be, obviously you got to get along with your players. They have to respect you. We've talked about this many, many, many times. Players can tell if you don't know what you're doing, don't know what you're talking about within 15 minutes of practice. So you have to have their respect, but they have to let you coach them. But then at the same time, you have to coach them the way you are. But in today's game, you can't be what's his name from UConn and scream at your players all the time in the NBA. It doesn't work anymore. You can't do it in college anymore. They transfer with the transfer portal. So you want to go out. If I'm going to go out, I'm going out the way I want to. But hopefully I'm a good enough coach that my way is the best way and we actually win, so we all keep our jobs.
Yeah. And that's not the only coaching news of the day. David Griffin, who was took over the Pelicans, has been let go as the I guess he was vice president, general manager.
He was making the decisions we just talked about.
Yeah,
he was one of the guys making those decisions.
Yeah, he helped the Cavaliers build that team in Cleveland in 2016 that went to New Orleans in 19 and 20, and really Zion Williamson's the reason he's getting fired, Mo.
Probably. I mean, that's why a lot of decision makers in the NBA are afraid to make decisions, because if they don't turn out right, a lot of times they pay for the price, and it happens more than people think. Draft picks. If you would look at the draft picks over the last 5 years, there's in the first round draft picks over the last 5 years, I bet there's less than half of those guys are in the league right now. I guarantee you if you looked at that.
Yeah.
And probably 10% are starters or, really good players. That's just the way it is. So you have to really make decisions relying on not only their talent, are they going to be available? Are they injury prone? Hello, they are. Look at Embiid. What's the upside? What's the downside? What kind of people are they? Are they willing to fight through and help our franchise win in tough times as well as good times? All that comes into play.
Mo, why is it? Obviously, the NBA is just elite talent, but dang, man, if you're not a top 10 draft pick, there's a good chance you might not even make a team. You'll be in the G League. The talent level is. Help us understand.
Well, if you're in the first round of the NBA draft, you're going to be in the NBA. You're guaranteed money for 3 years. Actually, 2 years in a team option. So you're going to be in the NBA for 2 years probably. Now, whether you're on an NBA roster, you're playing in the G League, or maybe they cut you and they say, well, we're cutting our losses, But, the talent level in the NBA is such that, people don't understand. Listen, we all know a player in Milwaukee called Cogniton, right?
Yeah.
He averages, I think, 10 or 11 points a game, right? NBA player, good, solid backup. He scored 43 points the other night. 43. That's how good he is. He's the 9th or 10th guy on that team. He scored 43 points in an NBA game 2 nights ago. So, people that are out there drives me crazy. If I was 7 foot, I'd be at the end of the bench, making money. No, you wouldn't. You're not good enough. I mean, the talent level is so high, and there's only 450 players in the NBA, and I would say 300 of them have guaranteed contracts for the next 2 or 3 years. So that means there's 150 spots.
Yeah, and here's a perfect example of that. In 2023, Malachi Flynn scored 50 freaking points for the Detroit Pistons. 50 freaking points.
Well, where is he?
This year, he played in Charlotte this year. He averaged 4 points a game. I mean, I'm not laughing at him. He's a really, the guy's a really, really good player.
So if you put him on a team and let him play 40 minutes a game, he's going to average 20.
Yeah.
So, it's just, but overall, we're talking about if you want to win, you have to have, like I tell everybody, I don't want the 12 best players. I want the 12 players that make up the best team, and you have to have, point guards and ball handlers and defenders and wing defenders and knockdown 3-point shooters and rim protectors and guys that can create their own shot and guys that can knock down open shots. You have to have all these players on your roster, and then they all have to blend together psychologically also.
Yeah.
So that's why, people out there that criticize coaches in the NBA. Well, Steve Kerr didn't play Tatum in the Olympics. What?
Yeah.
So who you wanted to play for Anthony Edwards or whoever? You got to take somebody out, right? Oh, it's like, and then people at home say, well, why don't you trade this guy for that guy? Because nobody will give you anything for that guy, and it doesn't fit in the salary cap. That's another whole can of worms that we're talking about.
Paul, here's why David Griffin is gone. Zion has been in the NBA 6 years. He's played in 214 games. This year he played in 30 games. And he still has 3 years remaining on his contract.
Bad decision.
That's your franchise player.
It's a bad decision. Now, 99% of the NBA would have made that same decision. Everybody said Zion's the best player. He's the next Michael Jordan, remember?
Yeah.
He's so athletic. Look what he can do. He's got the smile. He's got the charisma. He's got the game. But he's a unicorn the other way. He's a 6'5" power player in the NBA. So, and he's hurt all the time. So, you make a decision like that and you pay him all that money, do you really think, did you do research and really think he was going to commit to get in shape? Doesn't seem like he ever has been in his whole life. So, that's.
And he's living in New Orleans, almost great restaurants.
Come on, man. You can find food anywhere. Atlanta, LA, Miami, Detroit, go down to Greektown. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Look at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
He was MVP triple-double guy 3 years ago. What happened to him? He's barely playing for the Clippers now. It's just it's a unique situation. It's a unique business, players and coaches and front office. that 90% of the people out there, they don't have any idea what goes on behind in these closed doors. And a lot of them, because NBA teams are billion-dollar businesses, a lot of them don't make very good decisions. They have wrong people in wrong places to make wrong decisions.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, sweetie. I'm on
Hey,
Kathy just photobombed.
yeah, she made a good decision with you. That's what.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Is that first of all, Kathy? Is everything okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
All right. Sorry about that. You're good, baby. You're good. You know what, Steve Schroeder? There you go. Money changes you. It changes some guys. Some guys still take pride in their game.
Yeah, it changes some people. So does notoriety. So does fame. It changes some people, but that's how you got to figure it out. You got to find the people it doesn't change all that much. I've known both. I've known people that it changes a lot. I know people that are the same people they are now when they're making a ton of money as they were when they weren't making any money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but to Steve's point, though, and he's right, money is changing people a lot. College NIL money.
Yeah.
$1 million, $2 million to play as a 17-year-old kid in college and go to school and live in a apartment, and so yeah, so I can buy a nice car, I can buy a gold chain, I can fly, I can get on a private jet, and that'll run into problems. That's why it's so important, if you're making decisions as an NBA team, to delve into the background and the personality and the character of the players you're picking. Because 2 years from now, it could cost you your job.
Hey, Mo, speaking of picking players, I just want to mention that WNBA draft's going on tonight. Paige Becker from the champion UConn Huskies went number 1 to Dallas. Just a terrific player. She's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch her make the transition to the WNBA next year. The number 2 player was the international player, Dominique Malanga. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from France. The Washington Mystics took Sonia Citron from Notre Dame. And the Mystics had the 3rd and 4th pick.
And 5th, I think. Oh, they have 3 out of the next 4, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and they did. And Kiki Eifrin from USC, went to Washington, number 4. And Justy Joyce from Lithuania, hope I pronounced that right, is 5th. And I'll give one more Mystic pick. Georgia Amor from Kentucky. So,
who's from Australia, by the way.
Hey, a lot of international ladies, Mo, are going in the WNBA draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's going the way of the NBA, right? And college. All these colleges, men and women, have European players and foreign players in them. That's, because we've talked about this before on the show. They train differently. They have a lot of different. They have toughness coming up because most of their situations, where they're playing where they're growing up is not very good. It's not like here in America. So they have different mentalities. A lot of them do.
Okay, Mo, let's get to what everybody wants to talk about, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the NBA postseason. Before we start there, your thoughts on how the regular season went. Was anything surprising to you, the play of any teams or whatever?
Well, obviously, Phoenix Suns were horrible. And they were beat up a little bit, but not as much as Philly, who was horrible too. Philly lost, I think, 32 out of 35 of their last games, so they could keep their first round pick and have like a 20% chance of getting the first pick. But they were really banged up and they were really bad. The Lakers, the biggest surprise of the whole season was the Luka trade, I believe. from Dallas to the Lakers, and makes Lakers a legitimate West Finals contender for sure. And I think that was the biggest surprise. A player like Luka getting traded at 26 years old was one of the big surprises.
Well, everybody talks about Luka in that trade. What if you were back in Dallas, franchise you know very well, you worked there? What would you be telling Anthony Davis?
Stay healthy.
First and foremost.
I mean, before he got hurt, he had like 26 points and 15 rebounds and a half. So, I mean, we got to find a way to keep you healthy. That's period. Yeah. If you're on the floor, like next year, you won't know how this trade works out. Right now, Lakers look like they just Robin Hooded the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, they got Luka, but when you look at it overall, if Kyrie wasn't hurt right now, they would be one of the favorites in the West. They'd have Kyrie and Anthony Davis and Christie that they picked up. All their other bigs are getting healthy. They'd be one of the favorites. But, Anthony Davis got hurt in the first game. And then the worst thing is Dallas Mavericks traded Luka for a lot of reasons. They didn't like his work ethic, and they didn't want to pay him in 2 years. They want to pay him $400 million. So they tried to get what they could. And with Christie, they got a lot of help. But they only made that trade at all was because the way Kyrie Irving was playing. He was playing at an all-star level, averaging 20-plus points, taking over games like he always has. And that gave them the leeway. Okay, we got Kyrie and we got Luka. That's a great backcourt. But if we keep Kyrie like he's playing and add Anthony Davis to this group, then we can bring in Christie to bring defense to the backcourt. Now we're looking at, we can make a run in the next 2 years. But it flip-flopped. Kyrie got hurt. Anthony Davis is back, but Luka is turning into a guy that really helps the Lakers because LeBron can take a rest now. He doesn't have to carry the team anymore. And furthermore, Luka, if he plays his cards right, can be the next Kobe. He could be the next LeBron for the Lakers franchise for the next 10 years because he's only 26 years old. And he does everything. He scores. He rebounds. He's a great passer, phenomenal passer. And, we'll see. But that trade was really rocked the league more than it's been rocked in a long time.
Yeah. And I tell you, we talked about it a little bit the other night. Them cheering, the crowd that cheering, fire Nico. Wow.
Hey, that's the price you pay, baby. And it wasn't, the ownership changed in Dallas. Mark Cuban sold 51% of the Dallas Mavericks. So he was not a controlling owner. The owner is a lady that owns casinos here in Vegas, and she put her son in charge. And the idea was Mark Cuban was going to stay making decisions for the basketball operations part for the next 2 years to help her son learn the ropes. Except the league didn't let that happen. They did not let them put that in his contract. So he lost control of the basketball ops, and they made that move, not Nico. Nico Harris made it a little bit, but the ownership made that move despite Mark Cuban saying, don't do that. So that's what happened.
Wow. Hey, Mo, let's get to it, brother. Let's start with the play-in games tomorrow, 7:30. We got the Atlanta Hawks at the Orlando Magic in the East. We got a doubleheader tomorrow. Atlanta Hawks at Orlando Magic play-in game.
Yeah, nobody cares.
That's pretty much a toss-up, isn't it?
Yeah. No matter the 4 play-in teams in the East, Chicago, Miami, Orlando, and Atlanta are playing to get eliminated the first round. None of those teams can beat the Cavs or beat Boston. So they're really pretty much just wasting their time. in my opinion. Nobody cares.
Like they have the first four in the NCAA.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But it's a different story in the West. It's a different story in the West. But we could talk about that later. But I mean, Miami, and I don't know if people out there know how this works. So Orlando finished 7th, Atlanta finished 8th. So they're playing, and whoever wins that game is the 7th seed. And then the loser of that game, Orlando or Atlanta, they play the winner of Chicago-Miami. And then that winner gets the A spot. So that's how that works. And I could see Miami, beating Chicago, and then Orlando probably beats Atlanta and gets the 7th spot. I could see Miami, the 10th, beating Atlanta, the 8th, and getting the 8th spot, so they can get swept by Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Let's go west. The first playing games tomorrow is going to be Golden State and Memphis.
Yeah, so if you look at the West play-in, you have Golden State, Dallas, Sacramento, and Memphis. All those teams are better and have better chance at beating their first-round opponent than in the East. So I think Golden State beats Memphis. I just think they're kind of on a roll, so they'll get the 7th spot, and they're going to end up playing Houston, which they have a chance against. And then I think Memphis is going to play. I think Dallas beats Sacramento, and then Memphis-Dallas is going to be a good game to see who gets the A spot and plays OKC. But those teams, Golden State and Dallas, I think, in my opinion, can give OKC and Houston a run for their money in that series.
I think they can. I don't think they can beat OKC. I believe them. I just don't trust the Rockets yet. Hadn't seen a lot of them either. Especially if they catch Golden State, man, a veteran team like that. I can see that happen. The West, it's the Wild West for sure, Mo.
So put this scenario. Do you think Golden State could beat OKC?
In a 7-game series?
Yeah.
No, because I agree with you because I don't think they have the size.
Yeah.
I think they could give them problems, though. And
I think it'd be a 6 or 7 game series,
right.
which is what you don't want in the playoffs. You want a short first round series because all those games add up, right? Because if you go 7 games, you end up playing 20. You could end up playing 21 games before the finals, and you don't want that risk of injury and then getting tired. So that could be a scenario that say Memphis beats Golden State, they get the 7th spot, and they get to play Houston, and then Golden State could beat Dallas and then they would play OKC. Could give OKC a little series, but probably not beat them. I agree.
Hey Mo, do you think the play-in is better than the mini-series? Remember you guys used to play the mini-series?
Yeah, but the miniseries was if you didn't finish 8th, you didn't get in the miniseries. So the whole idea for this is that it's really bad for the 7th and 8th teams because they risk losing and not making the playoffs, and it's really good for the 9th and 10th because it gets them a shot at it. So but I mean, we used to play. First series was 3 games, then we played 5 games, and then the East and West finals were 7, and the finals were 7. But that's changed. You know why? Because of money and TV money, and no one, So I think the NBA wants to have competition going on till the end of the season, and it worked. I mean, people didn't know who was going to make it and who wasn't going to make it till the last game of the season, which is crazy. So in that thing it worked. I don't think you could put a mini series on that. That now you're talking about 2 months of playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, Steve asked the question: when does the finals end when you play? May?
I don't know. I was never in them.
You're always close, though. I
Yeah.
don't think it ever went to June back in the day. I think
No, but the season started sooner, I think, and we had a longer preseason.
yeah.
We had a month of preseason. They have like 2 weeks now.
You are watching We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend Paul Mokeski. Send us your questions and comments. Talking NBA hoops. We got NBA news. Uh, Mike Budenholzer's out at Phoenix. David Griffin, general manager of the New Orleans Jazz, is out at that job. Uh, let's start in the East, Mo, because I think these series are a little more predictable and than what we're going to see in the West. We'll start with my Pistons taking on the number 3 seed New York Knicks. First game is Saturday night. Your thoughts on that series?
Well, like we said, we had mentioned this before. I think Detroit has beaten the Knicks 3 out of 4 games this year.
Yep.
So I don't know what the injury situation was when they played, but matchups are important in the playoffs in the NBA, and certain matchups work better for one team than the other. And if that's the situation, then I give the Pistons a fighting chance, to beat the New York Knicks, who I think Brunson's been out for a while. I mean, New York has underachieved after they made a big trade this year with Anthony Towns, and that, I mean, gave them, so you got Brunson, Bridges, Josh Hart, Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson. Their big came back, so they got the makings of a good team, but they haven't really performed at that level. And the Knicks made a little run last year, so they're experienced. So Detroit, usually the most inexperienced team loses a 7-game series. However, sometimes when you have inexperience, you don't know what you're facing, and sometimes you don't care, and you can let it fly, and you can win a series.
So that's what. If you're Bickerstaff, is that what you're telling the Pistons? Hey man, we won 14 games last year. Now we're in the playoffs. Let's go have fun.
No. I'm telling them, listen, we got a good matchup with the Knicks. We beat them 3 out of 4 times. That doesn't matter anymore. The playoffs are a different story, but we know we can beat this team, and we can beat them in a 7-game series. We just have to take care of our business. Last year doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then I say, listen, nobody thinks we're going to win, so we got nothing to lose. And if you can take control of the series early, you put the pressure on the New York Knicks, who are playing in Madison Square Garden, and all the New York fans. And it's interesting what happens. We saw how Rory missed short putts in the Masters because of pressure. You put pressure on an NBA team in New York, interesting things could happen.
Hey Mo, people talk about the Garden. I've been there several times. I mean, it's the Garden for sure. But was it special to play there? Did you have a favorite arena to go play?
I liked it. My best game was in Madison Square Garden. I had 21 and 16 rebounds. And, I like playing in Boston Garden. I like playing in the LA Forum, the older places, that had history. Even the Philly Spectrum, that had history. But all those arenas are gone now. The only one left is Madison Square Garden. So yeah, it's special. You walk out that tunnel, it's a different feeling.
I don't think the Pistons will win this series. I think they got
man.
They got a couple of veteran guys, Tobias Harris, Hardaway,
Dennis Schroeder.
Yes, Schroeder. Schroeder was a great pickup. Mo, he's been a great pickup for them. Cunningham's turnovers are way down now. He was turning it over 6 or 7 times a game. Since Schroeder's got here, I think that's been cut more than half, maybe 2 or 3 times now. but I think they're too young. So,
I think
but I think they'll win a couple of games. I do.
yeah, I think they're too small. Also, they don't really have a big guy.
Yeah, our big guy's not really a big guy.
No.
He's a good young player. So, yeah, I like New York here. I'm sad to say Steve's picking an upset. What is everybody else out there thinking in that first round Pistons Knicks game series? It'll be just fun watching the Pistons in the playoffs. This might be there's some great matchups in the first round, but I think Indy and Milwaukee will be as good as any first round matchup we have, Paul.
Yeah, and they don't like each other. They've had battles, and I think Indy knocked the Bucks out last year, maybe. And Giannis was hurt. I like, you know, Indy's a well-rounded team. They got a nice roster, but I think with Portis back, and if Damian Lillard could come back little by little and fit in here, I kind of like the Milwaukee's roster a little better. Indiana has the home court, but I don't know if that matters much in this series. But I could see it going 7. And the one thing that I like about Giannis's game in the last month or so is he's passing the ball. He had 20 assists last week. So to me, if I'm coaching that team, I'm showing them that footage. We are such a great team when you pass the ball. Look at this. You're finding this guy, finding that guy. And, this is exciting. You've been MVP. You've won a championship before. How about we get you a well-rounded game, pass the ball more, let some other players step up, and win another one just for the hell of it. Nobody expects us to beat Boston. No one thinks we can beat the Cavs. Why don't we just do it though? Because we have the team to do it now.
Yeah, I kind of like them in this series, Paul. I like the Bucks. I think the Bucks are a dangerous team, especially if they get a Lillard back. Because you got Giannis, who's a problem, and Lopez, a veteran player, most been in a lot of big games, and I think Lopez is going to be a big difference maker in this series against the Pacers because he's going to eliminate Miles Turner in this series, and Miles Turner is a big weapon for the Pacers.
Yeah, if I'm the Bucks, I'm letting Miles Turner shoot threes. Because if he thinks he can do that and take the ball out of Halliburton and Siakam's hands, thank you. Keep shooting. You might make a few, but that's the way to go. Good job.
No, I'm open, man. I'm open, coach.
Good. And if he starts making threes, I'm not that mad when I'm Milwaukee. Go ahead, shoot those.
Yeah, because hey, when you're coaching, especially you're coaching against great. I'm not saying Indy's a great team. They're obviously an outstanding team. Isn't it always something you're willing to give up to the other team for a larger goal, like winning the game?
Well, you don't give up something. You try to make them do stuff that they don't want to do. So, if you have a superstar that's used to shooting 25 shots a game and you can get some other player to take more shots, maybe that player takes 10 shots a game and you get them taking 15 shots, and then you get the superstar taking 18 instead of 25. That's what you want to throw them off their game. You want to make them do stuff they don't want to do. You want to make their post-up guys shoot from the outside. You want to make their outside guys try to post up. You want to do all this stuff to make them do what they don't do and what they don't do well. That's true for individual matchups, and it's true for the team. If you have a team that really great execution, a half-court execution, they slow the ball down, you want to speed them up. You want to trap them. You want to push the ball. If you have a team that's really good at going up and down the floor, you want to slow down the pace of the game, walk the ball up. And, so that's the battle that goes on between the coaching staffs and the teams and the players. If you let's say, who are the Lakers playing?
They got Minnesota.
Yeah, so it's perfect. Minnesota has Rudy Gobert. They got Naz Reid. They're really big. They're really physical. They're slower. the Lakers have no size. They have no size. Their center is like 6'8" or 6'9". So if you're Chris Finch and you play small ball with the Lakers and they make you play small ball, you will lose. If you can make them play bigger and play their guy Len, whatever his name is, and that's a battle of, we want to play big and you want to play small. Who's going to crack first? Who's going to blink first? And that's a big strategy going on in that series.
And we're going to go to the West. But one more thing about the Bucks and the Pacers, also a matchup of two veteran coaches, Rick Carlisle in Indy, Doc Rivers in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and people are calling for Doc Rivers firing and stuff like that. And
That's every year, right?
Yeah, well, some. Rick Carlisle's not in that hot seat, but yeah, they've been around. They coach different teams against each other. They know each other's styles and stuff like that. There's not going to be any tricks or surprises in this series. It's just going to be, who plays better, who makes the less mistakes, and who stays healthy.
Okay, let's go West, young man. We talked about the playing games there. Let's start with the 3-6 matchup, Lakers and Timberwolves. You kind of touched on a little bit of it, Mo.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers have, one of the best 1-2 combos now, with LeBron and Luka. And then you throw in Austin Reeves in the backcourt with that. So you got three guys that can handle the ball, pass the ball. The Lakers have made some moves that have helped them, and they've gotten deeper. They still don't have the size that I like, but they're a threat to the top teams now because of some of the moves they made. And they have Vanderbilt, who's healthy now, defender. Gabe Vincent, who's back. He's been hurt before. Remember Connect, the rookie from Tennessee, who was lighting it up early in the season? He hardly sees the floor anymore, but he's a guy in a playoff series that could come in and hit 2, 3, 4 threes and really help you in that game. So, I like the Lakers' chances. I mean, Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind. I saw highlights from the other game where he scored 40-something. He's knocking down threes with three guys on. It's going to be an interesting series, but I think the Lakers have the edge there with Luka.
I am absolutely with you. I like the Lakers in that. But I think this will be a fun series to watch for sure. I mean, just some great matchups, man. I think this will be a fun matchup to watch. And another fun matchup, Nuggets and LA Clippers. Mo, Clippers, man, they can run some guys out there. Of course, they have James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's been healthy the last few weeks, and they have played well to end the season. And the Nuggets, does the firing of alone impact anything more? These are pros who are grown men who will just move on past that.
Yeah, it doesn't affect anything, I don't think. I mean, maybe in a heated game in the huddle, you got someone that's not as experienced as Coach Malone is in that huddle. It might get a little shaky in there, but really the situation there is Jamal Murray healthy? Can he had a hamstring issue? Is he healthy? Because if he's not healthy, it's going to be a struggle for Denver. And the other thing, here's what I've been telling people all the time, right? If you're going to play in the West, you better have some bigs that can play against the Joker. And guess who the Clippers have? Zubac, who's one of the best bigs in the league. He averages 17 points and 13 rebounds. He's a legit 7-foot guy that can play. So that's a matchup to watch in the Denver series. Now, Joker's going to be better, but Zubac is right there with him. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he has really developed his game over the years. And he's a tough physical player. He will dunk that ball on you. Zubac has really come a long way.
And he's a good low post player. So that's why The Denver Nuggets, I would think, would try to start Aaron
Lynn, Alex Lynn.
Aaron Gordon. No,
You're talking about
the Nuggets will try to guard Zubac with Aaron Gordon, and the key is to give Zubac the ball and get Aaron Gordon in foul trouble, and then the Joker's going to have to go guard him. And if you get the Joker in foul trouble, you got a big advantage. So I would think if I'm in that strategy room, I know Denver's not going to start the Joker on Zubac. They don't want to get him in foul trouble. They're going to start Aaron Gordon on him, who's a good defender. So let's go right at him. Put him in the pressure chamber down there, Zubac, and get to the free throw line, and then that'll change the outcome of a game quickly.
Yeah, I was thinking about Alex Lynn. That's the and Steve helped us out with that. That's the Lakers big man. That they have.
He's a legitimate big body that they can put on Joker for a little bit. Here, go bang him. That's what I did. Go beat him up a little bit, man. Put some pressure on him. Run him up and down the floor. Make him run.
So there we are, Mo. We got about 4 minutes left. We got all the playoffs covered. Hey, Mo, who's your MVP? Or do you even care about stuff like that?
I don't really care, but I would. It was Shea Alexander for a while, but I think it's the Joker now. I mean, he put up some Wilt Chamberlain type numbers, and he's still, I like Giannis. I like the way he's coming, but the Joker, the type of player, he does everything. He's okay defender, but, he averages 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Pretty good.
So find someone else in the league that does that, and I would vote for them, but I don't think you can.
Couple other things. Speaking of Zion's draft class, the number 2 pick in that draft, John Morant, says his grenade celebration is here to stay. That's your franchise player in Memphis.
Why is he shooting guns and throwing grenades? Why isn't he just, can't you do this or whatever? I don't know, man. I don't understand. I know all the handshakes, you got to do all that stuff, but why do you have to throw grenades now? I mean, that was on Any Given Sunday, right? Where they scored a touchdown, they threw a grenade, and everybody falls down.
I don't know. That's your franchise player.
Well, hopefully he's. So if I'm playing against him, hopefully he's worried about throwing grenades, and I can worry about winning basketball games. And then you could go home on vacation and go do whatever you want.
Absolutely. Here's a little interesting thing, Mo. We didn't get a chance to talk about it when we came on the air, but I'm seeing more and more of this. We saw Trey Young is going to be the, I think, assistant AD in Oklahoma. Now in football, the great defensive end of the Raiders is going to be, Max Crosby is going to be assistant AD at his Eastern Michigan.
I don't think it's assistant AD. I think it's assistant.
A general manager.
Assistant general manager. That's totally different.
Yeah, assistant GM. Yeah.
Yeah, an athletic director at a college has to take care of all the sports, and he runs the whole sports program. Like Steph Curry is the assistant general manager at Davidson. So what they do is they're going to help the general manager get NIL money and dole that out in the correct way and pick up the right people in the transfer portal. I mean, I would love to be an assistant GM for somebody. Give me a call.
Hey, Kansas, y'all need to go to work. The Jayhawks, man. Up and down year for the mighty Jayhawks this year.
Yeah, they didn't work the transfer portal or NIL very well last year, and it hurt them. So hopefully they learned a lesson because they picked the wrong transfer portal people.
Yeah. Well, Mo, we got to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will be here throughout the playoffs every Monday. Please tell a friend. Please subscribe to the show, Sports Fluent on YouTube. You can't get better information than you get here from the great Paul Mokeski. Mo, it's always a pleasure doing the show with you, brother.
Absolutely. We talk basketball. We'll fill in my bracket right here as the series goes on. It's not March Madness anymore. It's what is it? June.
I don't know what we call this. But
Jelly donuts.
Mo, by Monday we will have some games played, so we get a better feel of what's going on. But until then, for Paul Mokeski, I'm Rick Hampton. Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Go Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.